I haven't slept. I haven't ate. I've worked 12-hour days. I have 5 listings. I have my biggest week. I haven't even had time to shower.
Multiple offers are back in a big way. Property selling up 24 hours on the market and so on. That's all back. One would assume that what is going on in the economy and world and politics and all that would put a damper on real estate here.
Yeah.
Not at all. In fact, it almost had the opposite effect where kind of like pouring gasoline on the fire, and it's increasing.
Most clients don't want to get into the contractor world. They don't want to get the estimates. They don't know how to execute. They're going to get taken advantage of. It's hard. It's timely. Yeah.
You put in, light granite, they wanted dark.
Yes.
You do carpet, they wanted wood.
Yes.
You paint it gray, they wanted white.
Hey everyone, we are here at our Portfolio Profits podcast talking about everything Hamilton County, Marion County, Indianapolis real estate, and how insane our market predictions were in January. I'm here with my good friend Peter Stewart. Hello.
Hi.
We're so happy to have this champ with us. He is so swamped working in and around the market, and I was able to get him in here so we could sit down and tell you guys what we're feeling and hearing, because we think it's really important to say what you're feeling and hearing on the news is maybe not translating in the market, because we are working 12, 14-hour days. Is that right, Peter? What do you think?
Oh, yeah. It's almost never been busier. Kind of feels like the COVID era all over.
And I have heard like it's COVID feeling. I think it's a little more intense than COVID in terms of there's not that frenzy of like, is there going to be houses, but people are more excited to get in the market.
Yeah, it's a mix of both, I think. And there's not the panic in terms of, oh, I need to buy right now for whatever reason that I felt in COVID. So I think what's pressuring people or causing people to get in the market is a little different, but just the general level of activity is very similar. The multiple offers are back in a big way. Property selling up 24 hours on the market and so on. That's all back.
It's all back.
Yeah.
We're seeing open houses with 50 people, 2 to 3 offers in on listings that are priced right, in good condition, right?
Oh, yeah. All the time. I mean, I said of the last 10 offers I've written in the last few weeks, 8 of them have had multiple offers.
Yeah.
That's in the investment space too, not just the retail space.
Oh, wow. So let's talk about what was the quarter one like for your investment world?
Quarter one was amazing. I had a record-setting Q1. Both was about split 50-50 listings and buyers.
So you're seeing investors wanting to sell and people wanting to buy investments both ways.
They're coming both ways. Yeah. Not only seasoned investors just buying more properties out of their portfolio, new buyers are entering the market, but there's a lot of sellers doing what we call 1031 exchange, a tax-deferred exchange, and leveling up their portfolio. So trading, selling their smaller properties and getting into bigger stuff.
Yeah.
Not only, some are selling their local properties here. May have helped someone buy, a few duplexes a couple years ago. Prices have gone up. They have some equity in the properties. Maybe they've done some renovations to add value. And so now they're selling those. And then, instead of having duplex, they're looking for a 4, or maybe even getting into the commercial realm of, 6, 8, 10 units. And there's a lot of people selling their properties out of state as well. California, of course, as always, and doing a 1031 exchange and taking, one house there and buying 4 properties in Indiana with that money.
Yeah. And I think what we're doing is trying to empower our everyday client and the professionals in Indianapolis to do what we're doing, is seeing these investors coming in from droves, right? East Coast, West Coast, internationally, they're coming to buy here.
One kind of surprising thing, not to get political when I say this, but I've had an influx of buyers from Israel too, which kind of surprised me because of what's going on over there. I thought that I assumed it might stifle investments and people hoarding their money, not wanting to make moves like that.
Yeah.
But I've had tons of conversations with people from that country over the last few months.
Well, let's talk about what's going on in the world, because I think a lot of realtors don't touch on it and a lot of brokerages don't either. But the world economics does affect our U.S. economics, and it does trickle down.
Yeah.
But it's not trickling the way you would think, right? For us.
Very surprising. One would assume that what is going on in the economy and world and politics and all that would put a damper on real estate, and it's not here.
Yeah.
Not at all. In fact, it almost had the opposite effect where kind of like pouring gasoline on the fire, and it's increasing activity.
It is.
It's kind of counterintuitive, but I'm not going to complain.
No, we're seeing so many people wanting to buy, upgrade, just wanted to do a new space, a different space, maybe pent up over the years of finally saying, okay, I am ready to move. I've accepted the rates are not going to go from 5 to 3.
Yes.
Right.
That's actually partly driving some of this. People have been on the fence
Mm-hmm.
waiting for that rate drop, that magical rate drop that has not come. I mean, yeah, they went down a teeny bit in the
Yes.
last 6 months or so, but for the most part, they're still relatively high. And I think people are realizing maybe that's not going to happen. So yeah, they're going ahead and pulling the trigger now.
And I think the national average, for the last 25 years has always been in the 5%. So this is, when our parents bought, there was
Higher.
18%, 20%.
Yes.
So, when the threes of the 2020s are long gone.
And it's not realistic.
Right.
That was a very unique event that
Yes.
caused those rates. And I think they kept them artificially low a little too long. I mean, I loved it, but that kind of gave people an unrealistic sense of what rates should be.
Yes.
Especially those who are new in the market and didn't see or weren't used to much higher rates. And so they got accustomed. They had just entered the market, bought the first property at 3%. They think it's always going to be like that. And that is obviously not the case.
And I'm hearing on all of our residential retail listing appointments is we don't want to give it up, but we're tired of the space or we can't expand the space anymore. So we want to move. So there's lots of people moving and grooving in Hamilton County and in Marion County. Investments are selling very quickly. List price, and I see luxury really since spring break, early April, luxury has really taken off. Multiple offers in luxury. So in Windermere, we had one that we felt like maybe priced a little underpriced, and that is a strategy that some realtors will do to price it somewhere in the mid to lower range of the market value in order to drive offers up. I don't necessarily love that strategy for me personally, for my sellers, because I like to feel like we dictate the price. And if we think it's worth X, we need to price it at X plus some, depending on whatever unicorn amenities they may have, right?
Sure.
What are your thoughts on pricing and strategy in this market?
I'm not a big fan of the multiple offer strategy either. Sometimes, especially in the luxury segment, because just the demand can be there, but yeah, I think it's been maybe a little soft the last few years. But that's more your world than mine. So if there's been a big uptick, that's fantastic. But I find a lot of the bidding war pricing going on in the lower realm.
Yeah.
Like as an example, I just listed a flip for my personal flip of mine last week, and I priced it that way.
Okay, tell us what was the price range you think?
So it's a lower price single family home in Lebanon. I priced it at 169.
Okay.
Or excuse me, sorry, 179.
Okay.
And or 169 was I was originally going to price that. And I'm under contract at 190. I had 3 offers within just a little over 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
I priced it that way purposefully. It's vacant. It's sitting there. I bought it cash, so there's no mortgage on it. So my holding costs are low, but there's opportunity costs for that money. So I want to get in and out. And it's not a massive flip. It's not a huge profit. So I mean, it's decent. I'm not complaining, but I want to get that money back out so I can utilize it for something else. So I didn't want it sitting on the market for a while. And with the uncertainty that's going on in the world, I didn't want to get caught kind of, with my pants down, so to speak, if something did radically shift in the market and buyers weren't there anymore. So I priced it quickly, I priced it low to sell quickly, and it did. Got multiple offers, went 10K over asking. Again, I listed at 179. I'm under contract at 190. All the offers I received were over asking as well.
So when you source that listing, tell us a little bit about that, because I think what our audience needs to know is that if you do want that easy button and you want someone to trust to come into your home and say, you could spend X, Y, and Z and sell it for this, or you can sell it for Y if you don't do X, Y, and Z. And so which one do you prefer? And I feel like that's kind of where we train and coach it together. And we like to walk into homes and tell people their opportunity costs. Do you want to spend $10,000 on these upgrades? And what do you get all of that back plus some? What do those numbers look like? That's kind of how we want to go about working with our clients, because that's their equity, and we want them to understand all the ways that their equity could be used.
Yeah.
And if they need it quickly, then we're able to, people like you and I and other in our group, we love to take on flips, whether it's a small or a big flip. If most clients don't want to get into the contractor world, they don't want to get the estimates, they don't know how to execute, they're going to get taken advantage of. It's hard, it's timely, and then by the time they do get their money, they can't do whatever their next goal was to be, move on, go to college, buy the next house. So I think this is a cool story of how we can come in and really give a different kind of scenario than any other listing agents.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because we have the investment background. So we're looking at the properties, even if it's a retail buyer or seller, from an investment angle as
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
And you're right, you have to look at the whole picture when you're evaluating this. And obviously, it's a common question for sellers to think about, what to do to the property to get it
Yeah.
ready for the market. And a lot of agents will just push, spend all the money, do everything. You got to clean up everything.
Everything.
But that's a lazy, number one, and
That's
two,
true.
it's not really maximizing the client's money and the ROI they're getting on that money. 'Cause
That's right.
as you mentioned, I mean, there's just the straight return. Hey, I spend 20 grand, I'm gonna get 30 grand, higher in price.
Mhm.
Okay, it can make sense, but you're right. It affects more than just the number or the dollar amount that they're getting. There's the opportunity cost of that money. There's time on the
Yeah.
market. There's the time spent to do the renovations.
Yeah.
Is it going to take 2 months to get the new kitchen and paint and flooring
Yeah.
and all that? And there's risk there involved too, because you're not guaranteed to get that higher price. So
Yeah.
agents like ourselves look at it from a more comprehensive point of view
Mhm.
and can give them input, because ultimately our goal, provide the information for our clients so they can make an informed decision.
That's right.
And we're going to give them multiple options, because there's many ways to look at it.
Yeah.
Like the flip that I just mentioned, I went in there initially thinking I was going to do a full renovation, kitchen, baths, everything.
Mhm.
But then I started looking a little bit deeper into the numbers and realized it actually made more sense to do a lot less, because I was going to spend, you know, 3 times the amount of money on the renovation and only make a very tiny increase in the profit. Again, it didn't make sense, and it would take
Yeah.
me several months off the market. In that sense, it was cash flow. My money was wrapped up in that property. So, and I was going to spend even more. So ultimately, I actually evaluated it in multiple ways. One was, do I just clean it up, like literally clean it
Yeah.
and trash
Yeah.
it out and just turn it back, put it back on the market and let someone else buy it and flip it? Kind of do like a half flip, wholesale
Mhm.
deal almost.
Mhm.
Or do I do a mid-level renovation? So I had to evaluate it from multiple angles. And ultimately, I ended up spending just about $6,000 on paint, deep cleaning, landscaping cleanup, a
Mhm.
few miscellaneous repairs,
Mhm.
and that ended up netting me the most money and the
Yeah.
highest ROI possible. And it also allowed me to get the property on the market quickly, because it only took about a week to do
Oh, that's
everything.
great.
And so, not only do I do that for myself, but
Yeah.
that's how we approach things for our clients too. Look at it from a comprehensive point of view, provide them with information, comps, all of that analysis on all of this, so that they can look at it and make the most informed decision for themselves as well.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great description to talk about because like you said, most realtors are going to go in. I mean, 95% of realtors sell 4 houses a year. And first of all, you got to make sure that the person's coming in to talk to you about your equity and your money is experienced or has a team leader that's experienced that they can lean on. I think that's really important. They go in and they say, well, we can spend $20,000 on doing all these things and we'll likely get you X. Or we can spend less and do a smaller, or I can just buy now price. And I think most sellers don't even know that there's so many different options. And I also think it's great that they can get educated because it's scary to sell your house. It's emotional to sell your house. And then trying to understand the numbers and then doing it on your own to try to get contractors in is all very scary, right?
It's one of the most common questions I get from sellers is, what do I need to do to get it ready for the
Yes.
market? I mean,
Right.
that's probably the most common question I get from sellers. They just don't know. They're not in that world. I mean, they're not stupid. It's obvious. Hey, get it cleaned. There's some damage, a hole somewhere. Yeah, patch it, fix it, things like
Right.
that. But beyond that, they don't really know. I mean, I get asked all the time, oh, do I need to do a new kitchen? Do I need to update the baths? They think that they've got to just do this entire renovation if the house isn't already, renovated.
Yeah.
And most of the time, not true at all.
No.
Uh, for some reason, again, a lot of agents tend to push that. I think they just don't know any better.
I agree.
But yes, because we are so experienced, because we do a lot of investments, we look at it from a much more comprehensive point of view. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say 90% of the time, my clients spend less than $10,000 to get the property on the market.
Yeah.
Most of the time, actually, very little amount. You're just cleaning, maybe a little bit of repairs, spot touch up and paint.
Yep.
That's it. Allows them to get on the market
Mhm.
quicker and less risk, because you're spending, your cash is not
Mm.
financed money
I
that you're
know.
spending to do those repairs. There's time spent to do it. And then there's no guarantee that those changes are going to produce a return. And obviously,
No.
there's most likely, because you can
Yes.
look at the comparable sales and go, okay, those houses sold for this price and they had these updates, mine doesn't. So if I do those things, that's
Sure.
likely to sell at this price, but it's not guaranteed. So there is a risk involved when you spend money to get the property
Yeah.
prepared.
And I think it's you gotta prepare it. It's not like you can't just take your car back to the shop and be like, trade it in. Like, for me, I gotta clean that car up, and then whether you're a super clean homeowner and conscientious or you are a hoarder and anywhere in between, we know what to do to tell you to get it ready for X price, Y price, or Z price. And I think that's such a good comment to talk about because in our micro market in Hamilton County and Marion County, inventory is low.
Oh yeah.
We need houses. So don't take too long fixing your house up because a lot of times I think our sellers get in their heads or they watch too much HGTV and think they need to do all these things. Like, actually, we might have a book of buyers who are waiting in the wings for your house. They don't care that your granite is old and ugly.
A lot of buyers want to put their personal touch on the property.
Yeah,
So it's actually better and more
that's true.
advantageous to sell it more as is without those
That's
updates and
true.
cleanup. Yeah, you're getting a little bit of a lower price, but again, you're spending less or spending arguably nothing as well. And it might sell faster that way because there's plenty of buyers again who
Yep.
you're also there's the risk involved not only with the money spent, but are the updates you're doing what the buyers want?
Yes.
You put in, light granite, they wanted dark.
Yes.
You do carpet, they wanted wood. You
Yes.
paint it gray, they wanted white.
Or how about the sellers who are colorblind or the sellers who aren't getting design help or who are asking, AI to help them and they execute putting ceramic tile in a kitchen where that's not standard or suspected or expected, right? So,
and then they arguably were wasting their money because
yes.
there's no value in the mind of the buyer because they're looking at it going, I don't like that. I've got to redo it.
Yeah.
So you spent, 15 grand on all that granite and I wanted quartz.
Yep.
So there's not a 15K premium in my mind on my offer. I'm looking at it from an expense perspective going, I have to pay for this and do this time and money spent. So now my offer is lower because of that. So yeah, it doesn't always make sense. But again, that's something that we look at and provide that advice to our clients because most sellers don't know what to do. And they are getting bad advice from questionable
somewhere.
sources.
Yeah, right. And we're in the grind every day. Like, it's been 12, 14-hour days, right? Working with clients nonstop. And I think that's a spring market in general, but it's really intense now. And we understand those hours because sometimes real estate doesn't sleep. Houses list in the morning, clients are busy with their families or working during the day to afford that house. So by the time they get a chance to download the information and want to talk, it's 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And that's okay, especially for these active buyers who are really trying to figure out where they got to go and what they got to do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think when you are thinking about real estate, you have to think about portfolio because we're here. We're able to be in the trenches with you because we've done it for so long. It doesn't scare us. And we're happy to be very direct and conservative on saving you money because a lot of people want to do too much to their house. And we can stop you and say, no, we'll sell it for this. Don't worry. Or if you want that easy button, we'll buy it from you. And we work those deals. It sounds like that's where you've gotten some of your flips. I know that's some of our flips is just our own sellers going, take this off our hands. I don't want to go through this process because it's not fun having contractors in your house while you're trying to get your 3 kids ready to school. Been there, done that. So I think it's a really cool opportunity that we have to help clients understand their money. And clients are calling us saying, what should we do? We have the contractors that we can trust to send to you to make sure you get that house ready. But definitely call us in and get our brains on what you really need to do. Don't just rely on what your mom said or what your neighbor said, because we're in it all the way through. And I've never seen, this is not a market I've ever seen, actually. Have you?
Yes. I mean, the COVID era
feels COVID.
When I was in Los Angeles in the beginning of my career, that's an entirely different market, different conversation, a different day. But busy in an LA market is like COVID on steroids here. Slow market there is like a busy market here. It's a whole different world. It's like traffic.
Okay, got it. It's always there.
It's in another universe. Yes. It's not just one level up, it's 50 levels up. So I have seen this kind of stuff before. I mean, as one example, in 2012 in Los Angeles, prices, and still the buyer's market, we're 3 years after the crash, prices went up 30% in that year alone. It took us 2 years of COVID to go up that much. Wow. So still in the buyer's market, you're having that level of appreciation. But it was insane level of activity. I saw one property in the valley that had 83 offers.
Oh my goodness, 83. That's
And
just
yeah,
chaos.
so not to hijack the topic and talk about LA real estate, but yeah, that's the level of busy that it was. So I have seen it before, and their paperwork a lot
Very
more
different.
disclosure. Not only does their offer more pages, but they have a ton of disclosures to go along too with it too. So an actual offer package is 20, 30 pages. So
Very different.
multiply that by 83. You have a stack this big on your desk of
And
documents
you
to read
hope the
through.
person you hired understands how to read it all and
Yes,
source
yes.
all the truth and knowledge of financing and
Oh
contingencies
God,
in
and
those packets.
put that in a spreadsheet and compare all
I
all the
love that
terms.
multiple offer spreadsheet. So it does. We're loving this market. We really enjoy helping others like find more money and build. And we see people who are like us who don't have real estate license but can find equity by creating something beautiful, finishing a basement, adding onto the back. Like we can give you our advice on how to do that and how to make money because a 4-car garage or that in-ground pool or that extra shed, those really can go a long way on adding value, making that loft into a 4th bedroom with an office for $4,000 so you can compete with the 4 or 5 bedroom down the street. It can be very smart.
And sometimes you go as is as well.
Yep.
That's something I think a lot of sellers actually forget about. They
Mm-hmm.
think they have to do
That's
these
right.
things because a lot of agents who aren't very experienced will push that. They want to hit the easy button on the agent side.
Yes.
When it's all clean and pretty, yeah, it's a little easier to sell, but
Mhm.
it may not be the best decision for the client. But as is an absolutely doable approach. We do it all the time. Now, when I say as is, there's always something to do, a little bit of
Always.
staging, a little bit of
Yes.
cleaning, but from a monetary perspective, it can be free, just with a little
Mhm.
bit of time spent. But sometimes that actually yields the best results is doing a truly as is
Because
sale.
it's fast and buyers are willing to put their own mark on it depending on the price point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you hearing nationally about the market? And I mean, what I've been hearing is potentially another rate decrease here in the fall. And also just buyers are not actually sitting on the sidelines anymore. Buyers are
I
out
mean,
there.
if you look at the national news and read those headlines, they're always off, but you would think that real estate's in big trouble. I think the
Yes.
gap right now between amount of buyers out there and amount of sellers is the biggest gap we've ever seen. So it makes it feel like you're in a very difficult
Yes.
market. But of course, real estate's very hyper local, and our market
Mhm.
is not experiencing
Nope.
what a lot of other markets in this country are. And that's one of the advantages actually of the Indianapolis market is how stable it
Totally.
is and
Yep.
how insulated it is from what's going on in the world. I mean, it I don't know if it's the most stable market. I don't know if that's actually officially ranked, but it's definitely one
Yeah,
of
we're at
the
the top.
most for sure. And so all the crazy thing that's going on, not only in our country but world, again, not to get political or anything like that,
Yeah.
but the administration's policies,
Yeah.
the war, all that stuff doesn't really affect our market like you think it would.
No.
And we're still going strong. So not only is that good from your standard retail buyer seller's position, but for investors,
Mhm.
that's why a lot of them are exiting other markets because they're so volatile and they're buying in an extremely stable market like
Mhm.
ours. So yeah, all those national headlines you
Yeah.
read about the market are not applicable to our market at all. We are still in it. It's still a seller's market technically, but it has softened.
It is a
If you look at
seller's market.
the stats, it has softened. Inventory
Yes.
has risen a little bit. It's getting closer
Yes.
to a balanced market.
Yes.
But I'd argue that's healthy, and we needed that. It was
Yes.
too skewed for too long. So it is shifting a little more towards a balanced market, but that just means a little more choices for buyers
Mhm.
and sometimes a little better deal if there aren't multiple offers. But on the flip side, if it continues how it's going right now, we might go right back into a strong seller's market because
I
all the
agree.
multiple offer situations
I
that we're
agree.
seeing as more and more buyers enter the market, it just might get more and more
More
competitive.
sellers
Mhm.
too. And I think it's a good point. Like if you're gonna buy now or wait till next year, what would you tell a buyer?
Great question. I mean, number one, and this is not to put any pressure on a buyer, but we got to analyze what's the advantage of waiting. What will it do for you?
Right.
Why would you wait? Because unless there's a really good answer there, I think the risk of waiting is high. For the risk of something bad happening, rates potentially jumping up,
Mhm.
or you lose your job, or
Mhm.
something bad could happen Or if we continue
It's
with
true.
these multiple offers, prices go up and maybe they're up
Mhm.
10% from now. So you're paying more for the property
Yeah.
and maybe even have a higher interest rate. So I see no advantage of waiting unless, again, there's some personal
Yes.
reason for
Right.
it. Hey, we want to wait till after we get married or whatever it might be.
Right.
Need to start my new job and I'll,
Right.
making more money at that time so I can afford a, more expensive house or
Yes.
whatever it might be. Outside of, some of those variables, I see no distinct advantage to waiting,
No.
buy now while the prices are, I guess I'd say low,
Yeah.
because
Somewhat affordable.
I feel like they're only going to continue to go up. So
Yes.
all you're going to do if you wait is pay more for the same property.
That's exactly right. You're going to wait. If you're going to wait, you're going to pay more. Just know that. So you have to like calculate if it's worth waiting or not. Obviously transitions like life, job transitions is okay. We agree. We want you to rent to understand your area or your new job or your new finances. But if buying is on your radar or moving is on your radar, just do it because we've been seeing prices increase every year for the last 18 years in our market. So yes, of course we see course correction and potentially price correction in the next couple of years, but I don't think it's anytime soon. And the builders are still building.
Oh, I mean, it seems to be record setting here. I mean, every time I drive through some parts of town, a field is gone, or
Yep.
there was a farm there last week, and now it's been raised, and I see the big heavy earth movers there
Yeah.
cleaning it up and getting it ready for a new development, and it's all over the place, especially the metro area where there is the land, the cheap and
Mm-hmm.
plentiful
Yes.
land, all the farmland is, which
Yes.
is easy to develop typically,
Yes.
because there's not a whole lot of land left in the city, of course, at least not on the scale that there is in the metro area. So yeah, that uh, builders are going strong for sure.
And I want to touch on the fact that what the builders are doing is incentivizing buyers with these massive rate cuts that they're able to buy because they're able to buy the money in bulk, right?
Yeah.
We were just able to secure 4.9, no, maybe 4.75 on a 7-1 arm for a
Wow.
client. Yeah, and we negotiated so well that the national builder locally asked me to not put the home in our MLS system. So there's a lot of thank you. There's a lot of off market that goes on for people like us who have been around a long time. And if you've been around a long time, Hamilton County, call us because there's things that you don't know that aren't advertised, that aren't on the MLS, such as I know what this national builder is willing to do, and they have so much money and they're offering bundled packages really low rates. And my clients, we sat down and went over the 30-year at 5.25 or the 7-1 at I think it was 4.75, and it made more sense to go with the 7-1.
Well, and touch on the off market stuff, you're absolutely right. Because of our connections, because all the business we do and our reputations, we do have access to plenty of things that your standard agent does not. Piggybacking on what you just said,
Yes.
I've been negotiating with one of the major builders because I have an investor who wants to buy multiple new builds at a time, and we're negotiating a deal for a package.
Nice.
That if you just walked into the salesperson's office, the model home on a Saturday, you're not getting that.
You're not getting that deal.
No.
You're not talking to management whatsoever, and they're not talking to you.
Mhm.
So those are kind of the fun ins and outs of being OGs in the real estate industry. Peter and I get to enjoy. We want to pass this knowledge to our clients and to our friends, to future clients, and this is why we want to podcast and share when we can. We get together to talk about what our last time together. We said, "Holy smokes, this market in January, we're already feeling it. It's going to be balls to the walls, right?" And it is.
Should have made some bets in Poly Market or whatever.
I know. Last week, I get the luxury to manage and coach our broker collective, and so I think there was 4 different agents who all called me and said, "I haven't slept, I haven't ate, I've worked 12-hour days, I have 5 listings, I have my biggest week." Like I haven't even had time to shower, right? So like we all felt it across the board, whether it was luxury, investments, and everything in between. And so it's just picking up, and it just shows, I like this movement. I like that people are excited to move. We like to help people move, and we like to help people understand their money. And I think that's why Peter and I love to get together and share what we've known and what we've taught ourselves and what we've taught with our clients is that like overall, this is still a seller's market. If you are thinking about listing, call us because there's many ways to list. There's many ways to sell and to get your money, make your money. Investors are coming in droves. So why are not you? We have baby investors coming in from out of state. Why not you? And we have the last Thursday of every month an open forum mastermind that we coach and train real estate boot camp. So if you want to dip your toe into real estate investing one day, yesterday, you're new, you're OG, everyone's welcome, because we come from a place of attitude of abundance and learning. And so that's April 30th is going to be our first one here at our office, is at 1 Concourse, 9998 Crosspoint Boulevard, or send us a message. So Peter and I like to pop in and send our expertise and our knowledge, and there's like case studies about which one would that be a good flip? Why is that a good flip? Or where can I buy a new inventory home product and turn that into a lease back? And how do I get a 1031 exchange into a multifamily commercial building? And who do I call for that? So we go all the way in and out and around, and we love it. So come if you're interested, and reach out to Peter directly. He is the boss of, I would say, the nation, but he is the boss of definitely Indianapolis investments all around, and he knows it all. So we're really proud to have him. And you can also check out information on Bigger Pockets, which is a huge investment community that Peter's plugged and played into. Is one of the top 10, only 10 realtors in the nation that they even refer any business to. So we're really proud that we get to represent Indiana and Indianapolis in this market.
Now, actually.
Oh, only 7?
Yeah,
Ooh.
they fire a few.
Yeah, they did, because not everyone rocks like we do, right,
That's
Peter?
right.
So top 7, there's only 7 investment tagged. Like, you should talk to these people, and Peter's one of them. So come talk to us about investments, luxuries, everything in between, how to get your luxury sale and pivot into some of your equity into an investment.
That's right.
But we love doing it. We do it for ourselves. We do it for our clients. So thanks for coming, Peter, and stopping with your busy day. Let's go sell some more and share the wealth of Indy investing, right?
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.